Welcome back to The Trade. I'm Gina Beck.
This is Drew Williams.
Thank you for listening, liking, commenting, and subscribing. We appreciate y'all, especially the reviews on Apple Podcasts. It really means a lot.
Yeah, and like always, thank you again for the continued support, the continued engagement, and the hashtag BananaCats.
How are you, Drew?
I'm alright, G. How are you?
Doing well. Just got back from Texas.
Yeah.
About to go to my sister's baby shower. She's having another baby. Oh my gosh.
So you're doing more traveling again. So you're
Yes.
always moving around. It's cool, though. I'm just a little bit jealous. You get to move around a lot. It's cool.
Yeah, this Friday, a baby shower for a second baby and be an aunt again.
Congrats to her and all that.
Right? Exciting. Life moves fast, especially when you're older. Doesn't it feel like things go by so much faster?
Oh, yeah. That's something me and Sway were actually just like talking about the other day. How quick things go by now.
Yeah, Jen and I too. It's insane. So I kind of want to bring up the last two episodes. This isn't all this episode is going to be just about those episodes, but I do want to talk about it a little bit because I'm sure you guys might want to hear some of our opinions on it.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. It was a weird one to edit. It just because it's so mundane but so dark at the same time. I don't know how else to describe it.
He is definitely the G word. You guys know what that is if you guys have been listening this long. He's the G word for sure. And it took some time for him to start talking like that. Like it took a lot of texting. And you know what the crazy thing is? When I was decoying in Tri-Cities, he had hit my decoy up before that. And I was actually about to go on the road. And we kind of just like lost conversation. He just got tired of responding to me because he didn't think he could meet me, I think. Because I was traveling, catching predators elsewhere. But he lives where I live. And so I remember talking to him. So when he had hit up one of our decoys, I recognized him. And I was like, I've talked to him before. But he's sticking now. Is he sticking? And the decoy is like, yeah, he's gross. Really nasty. He likes to talk. He loves the girls going through the P word. You guys know what that is? Transitioning from a girl to a teenager kind of thing. He loves that. And he would talk about that a lot, which is very disturbing. Especially because he has kids and a daughter around that age.
And he's works with children. That's another issue too.
Yeah, that too. In a church of all places. So I had jumped on the app that our decoy was on, and he had messaged me. So he was talking to two of us. And that's where it came in the video where he meets a girl because I wanted to be younger. So I was old. So, yeah, he was disturbing through the whole thing. But at the end of it, I'm sure like what you guys really want to know is we gave all of the information to the family, to his ex-wife and the stepfather of the children. And they had a lawyer and they took it to court and they've done their best to get custody of the kids, which by now they do. And he just lives at home with his parents. He's not allowed at that church anymore. Kind of got like exiled from a lot of people, which is good. But he didn't get any time. He didn't go to jail.
It's hard to make, unfortunately, those types of charges stick to people. Those type of crimes go underpunished, I think, by far out of anything.
Oh yeah, 100%. As we all know. So it's kind of like an update, and if there's anything else that you guys want to know, any questions you want to ask, feel free to ask. If you guys want to see a little clip of him getting arrested, it's on my Instagram, which you can find those links in the description.
Those calls are what I've always found most interesting about it all, and I'm it's weird to say it, but I'm glad to share with other people so they can see the work that you guys do as decoys, and it always just amazes me how you're able to keep up that personality after hearing those things. I don't know. I commend you always. I always like hearing that side, and I think more people should recognize how much work is put in by. I mean, decoys on every end, whether they're actually, actually badged and got law behind them, or civilian ones. It takes a lot of. It's emotional and draining. I think would be the best way to describe it.
Right. Thank you. I appreciate that. And yeah, you got to keep up the personality, and you also have to keep up all the things that you tell them. And you have to remember all the things they're telling you. And when you're talking to a bunch of people, and yeah, you have text messages so you can go back and look, but like when you're in the middle of a phone call, which is live, you don't really have time to scroll a year to last Thursday's conversation to see what he said about whatever we're talking about. So you just have to remember things or be witty, quick witted, and be able to respond fast, or just know
We're
how to play it off like you forgot. Like,
we're gonna have some actual new ones sometime soon, and you'll see G in action a little bit more. It always blows me away because it's like a whole different person.
especially now that we have microphones and stuff, it'll be able to sound like the first Ken one we did.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, really good. So I just have a few things I want to mention. I don't want to take up much of your guys' time or make this like a long episode, but I had just something I want to talk about. This is from August 17th, and I just thought this was interesting. Jury convicts registered SO. You guys know what that is, right? It's a registered, for using Facebook to produce CP. So what he did is he got this is crazy. He got a fake Facebook account and he like catfished women and got them to send him pictures of their children in a negative way. You guys know what CP is, for money. He did this through Facebook. And he got women to comply. I guess according to court documents, evidence presented at trial, Lorenzo Johnson is his name. He's 33. He used a fake Facebook account to identify women with access to children who were experiencing financial difficulties. So he targeted women specifically who needed money. That too, which happens a lot, whether it's
That's a common tactic they use in a lot of the poor countries that have a lot of those problems. They target poor people.
right. And he offered those women money to take really, and he succeeded, which is crazy to me. He succeeded in persuading 3 co-conspirators to send him of infants and children who, yeah, who they knew. The co-conspirators knew them in real life.
That's heavy. Just shows you how dark people can be.
He also used them as blackmail. The CP is means of blackmail. Uh, it's just crazy.
The poor
He,
kids. I mean, think of all around failure around the world.
yeah, he's caught though, and the link will be in the description if you guys want to take a look at this story for yourselves. I just thought this was interesting. We hear a lot of things about apps, and stories about apps, and like this is just one that really jumped out to me.
I got one that I think a lot of people are aware of it now. It's getting a lot of coverage through, I think, places like us and things like that, other news outlets, where a mayor of a town confronted a school board and asked for their resignation. I'm going to read a little bit of the article, and I wanted to read off some of the prompts that were inside this. So this was reported on the 15th, early morning. Hudson, Ohio. Hudson Mayor Craig Schubert and Hudson High School parents are calling for the resignation of school board members and teachers after the students of the school's Liberal Arts 2 writing class received a book of inappropriate writing prompts. He said, "It comes to my attention that your educators are distributing essentially what is CP in the classroom. I've spoken to a judge this evening, and she's already confirmed that. So I'm going to give you a simple choice. Either you choose to resign from this Board of Education, or you will be charged." A call to Schubert's office was not immediately returned. Monica Haven, the mother of the high school senior who previously received the 642 Things to Write About book, previously worked as a teacher for 11 years, and she shared some of the prompts. And we'll leave a link to the to where the mayor confronts the board. But I want you guys, and I will try to say these as much as I can without having to bleep out a ton. But it starts out with choose how you will die. Write a scene that begins with it is the first time that I killed a man. Describe your favorite part of a man's body using only verbs. You have a dream that you've murdered someone. Who is it? How and why how did the murder happen? And what happens afterwards? You are sick. What TV shows are you on your DVR list? Why? The fee. Write a scene you wouldn't show your mom. Rewrite the same scene from above into one that you wouldn't let your mom read. You just have been caught in bed by a jealous spouse. How will you talk your way out of this? Write a sermon for a beloved preacher who has been caught in a scandal. Describe the time you wanted to but couldn't. 10 euphemisms for. You are a brand new hotline counselor. Describe how you're feeling on the course of your first day of your first call. Write a letter from the point of view of a drug addict. Drink a beer and write about the taste. Write an scenario. And there's also the first time you had. And the entire book is not these. These are just some of the ones. It's pretty long. I would say most of them are a lot more mundane. And I don't know if the mayor's claim of CP would actually stick. I would say this is more of probably like distributing content that could be the G word that we've talked about before. To me, it seems very G wordy. I don't know how else to say it.
And if you're confused by the G word, it rhymes with tumor.
Yeah, boomer. Yeah, it definitely gives me those vibes. And there's screenshots of these books. Apparently, they're collecting them now.
Some things are just like, haven't we talked about something like this before? Also,
No, that was a different book. That was the picture
right? But
book.
like in the same realm, things like
Yeah,
that are just there. They exist. They exist, and it's unfortunate and disgusting, but it exists.
yeah. It does seem like the parents are starting to look at what they're actually being taught. Their kids are being taught, and in some cases, I'm not saying the entire education system is filled with weirdos. Like
I mean,
I don't want to be one of those people, but they are
you're
there.
right. Yeah, they are. And another thing, I don't want to I don't know. I don't want to say names because I have people I really know that go to this school, like family and stuff. So I don't want to say names of it, but there's something going on at this school district. I don't know if it's happening all over. Let us know in the comments if it's happening in your area. But they're talking about having like a new way of teaching the kids where they're going to teach them about you know, everything under the sun, the pronouns, the trends, the being, within kindergarten, first grade. And I have people that I know in real life that are thinking about homeschooling their kids because they don't know how they're going to teach their kids these things. They're confused. They're like, how are you going to tell my kid about without like, being really explicit, and they're not ready for their kids to learn about those things yet. Does that make sense?
I don't,
So,
and I don't think it's the teacher's choice to make that for other people's children.
right. And I don't even think, is it the teacher's fault, right? Isn't it like the school district who tells the teachers what to teach? Or is it the
Yeah,
teacher's fault?
there's generally the school board, and they'll either, I don't know if it's them themselves or if they elect another group of people, depending on where you're at. But there's uh, there's a curriculum, like approved curriculum and all that. But a lot of these cases that we bring up, this one's not. This one was actually like mass distributed through an AP advanced placement class. The other one, the picture book, that was kind of a little more isolated, but that
Mhm.
made it through a board of people.
Yeah, so I don't know how I, I don't know if it's a school board approving this or if it's like a teacher. I don't know, but what I do know is that there are parents who feel uncomfortable. And so if that's happening in your area, let us know if it's like becoming a common thing or not, I guess, because this is a small town that this is happening at.
I feel like if it's hitting small towns, it's got to be hitting a lot of small towns
Yeah.
consistently. And
And even the bigger cities, if it's hitting small towns, right?
yeah, and also the other thing too, going back to homeschooling, this is probably the best time around to have you look into local homeschooling because there's a lot of like groups where they like, one parent is really good at this and other parent's good at that. You might be able to do like a little community thing.
And I
Just
hear the biggest complaint that parents have from homeschooling is the social part. But I mean, if kids can find each other at school, they can find each other outside of school. It's up to the parents to be able to like, pick the right family and kids to have your kids interact with. So that's all you got to do is just be social yourselves and find parents that have kids, and then your kids have friends, and then you guys could do play dates. It's not that hard. You know what I mean? That's the biggest complaint with homeschooling. And if I was a parent, I would homeschool. There's no question. I would homeschool. Nobody's going to babysit my kid. Nobody's going to be at a daycare with my kid. All the things that I see, yeah,
I
not
don't
happening.
like I completely respect that opinion on that, and I think that a lot more parents are making that choice. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of good teachers are getting out of the education system too because there's just so much bureaucracy behind everything. And it's kind of sad.
Yeah. I grew up with some amazing teachers. Definitely. Like, I think in almost every grade, I could name my teachers to this day. Like, they are very memorable and they impacted my life in one way or another. I give big thanks to my teachers. So I'm not speaking negatively on schools. I'm just saying what I personally would do just to make myself feel more comfortable that like my kid is learning and being safe.
I think it's just going to become more of a normal thing. You'll have, a percentage of kids that still go to the public school system and a larger percentage that are doing some sort of homeschool type thing. And with the all the online stuff, education and things like thing, you can actually get probably a pretty decent education through nowadays compared to something like 10 years ago.
Oh yeah, there's homeschooled kids who are getting scholarships early. It doesn't just happen in a school building, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I think we'll end it there. I'm sorry if it's a little longer episode than normal. If you're listening this far, comment and let us know that you're listening this far. Be sure to like the episode. Check the links in the description. Thank you for listening, liking, commenting, and subscribing. We love y'all. Until next time, Banana Cats.
Banana Cats. Much love. Peace.